Brian, for this interview. And I'm really looking forward to asking you the question, since you are really big on global innovation at Pepsi, about how do you see global marketing and branding benefiting from innovation, and how innovation driving your global branding?
Well, I think that innovation is how we grow brands a lot of times. I think there's finding ways to connect better with consumers in different needs. It's funny, in beverages we say that there's no unmet needs, there's unarticulated wants.
Yes.
So essentially, when you ask the question, like, does the world need another beverage? Right. The answer is most likely not. But I think that when you find something as a consumer that an interesting beverage, it fits a space in your life that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a bottle, a new bottle that you really just enjoy holding, whether it's a flavor that you've just discovered and actually becomes your brand new flavor. And so I think that the marketing and the branding can only carry the weight so much. Uh-huh. And at a certain point, you have to innovate from a product standpoint. And the way that we do this on a global basis is easy and it's hard. Huh. I'll give you a good example. Like when we were developing a global lemonade platform. Lemonade is one of the oldest drinks known to man. In fact, it probably is the oldest drink known to man. Putting lemons and water with sugar is a drink that's found in Egypt, in Latin America. It's sold on the streets in Thailand. So how do you create something that now consumers would want to buy globally? Right. And it's hard. And you have to find, and the way that you figure that out is you have to understand the unarticulated wants. Right. So what people are looking for is they're looking for something that kind of helps to connect them back to nature. Yes. And so we developed a global lemonade brand called Lemon Lemon. That's under the 7-Up brand, which is now launching in 50 countries next year, and is set to be a $1 billion brand for PepsiCo. And a lot of that has to do with like finding ways to connect with what consumers are feeling, what they want. And we did research in Egypt, in Russia, in Mexico, as well as the United States, to understand like what is that unarticulated want that consumers are really looking for.
Yeah. That is really interesting, because when we think about marketing, it's about identifying and satisfying consumer needs. Yeah. And you are thinking from a consumer want angle. Mm-hmm. So could you give an example of a product which we would have never thought would be we wanted, but you launched and it's a huge success as a part of your...
A great one is when I worked at Johnson & Johnson, I worked on the KY brand. So if you're not aware of what KY is, it's a personal lubricant. Most people use it for sex. Right. And so when I joined the brand back, I think it was like 2003-ish, 2004, they had just the base KY product. And one of the things that when talking with R&D is that when you actually applied the lubricant, it felt cold to the touch. Okay. And so in talking with R&D, I was like, well, can we find a way to make it feel warm? Right. And just not have it feel cold? And they developed a product called KY Warming, which was the surprising part is not only did it not feel cold to the touch, but actually when it interacted with moisture, it actually like warmed up. Oh, okay. So you may need a lubricant. Right. You don't need it to warm. Right. You want it to warm for different reasons. So that actually set the brand on a really interesting trajectory for into where it is now, whereas developing products that really get at different ways that can enhance consumers personal relationships, their love lives, but it's not about solving a need. Exactly. It's like having something that you and your partner can look at and say like, yes, kind of want to do that. It sounds fun. It sounds interesting. Right. And that's actually been credited with tripling, quadrupling the size of the brand over that same time period.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.